She also brought us Dr. Oz and The Secret. We have to remember what this lady has done.
She has to be held accountable.
I forgive her, but I mean, cut the shit. The Secret is a particularly egregious offense.
What, you don't believe?
You don't believe? Believe?
I want to be rich. I am rich.
I imagine myself flying. I can fly. I will beat my wings until I take off.
Her schoolgirl affectations and body movements. Like, okay, ready? Here it is. Like, okay. She raises herself off her chair. Like, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about this. Okay.
You're so right.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something you haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
Right, like that. Right.
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly just dropped a massive shockwave straight through the center of Oprah's carefully crafted empire. And what they uncovered beneath the surface stunned everyone. Rogan tore into her polished self-help machine without holding back, while Kelly sliced through the image with ruthless precision, exposing the spiritual marketing, manufactured relatability, and carefully packaged wisdom behind it all. This wasn't just another opinion segment. It became a complete unraveling of a media figure the public has treated as untouchable for decades, and the implications completely changed the conversation.
Oprah is no longer in the business of staying up on the news. She's reading undoubtedly from blue cards her staff gave her. That's how the Oprah Winfrey Show was shot. Oprah didn't have to think of her own questions. It was all in prompter or on a blue card for Oprah. She doesn't know she's not making big news with this revelation. She said she'll sign the same shitty so-called border bill that they rejected the last time because it would let 5,000 illegals over the border a day.
Yeah, disturbing, but it was confusing when that was taking hold with people. When I had friends that were telling me that The Secret is real and that they imagined they were going to fulfill these childhood dreams that they had about whatever, being whatever it would be. There's a couple people that I knew that were trying to tell me that The Secret was going to be the thing and that they had a vision board and they had photographs. They put pictures up of the things that they wanted, like them in front of large crowds and shit. I'm like, oh boy.
Them in front of large crowds.
This is so not how it works.
Joe Rogan wasted no time whatsoever. The moment Oprah's name entered the discussion, he grabbed the microphone like a prosecutor presenting evidence in court. He wasn't interested in entertainment. He came prepared to expose what he viewed as one of television's greatest corporate illusions. In his eyes, Oprah had spent decades repackaging enlightenment and selling it back to audiences as a premium product while building one of the most powerful influence machines in media history.
I'm with the sex podcaster instead. She thought
call the ambulance or whatever it's called.
The woman who was talking about
call the daddy
how
about
to
the
use
ambulance.
dildos a week earlier.
Don't stop insulting her. That sounds like...
Did you see the Oprah interview?
No.
She's off the rails.
Yeah,
off the rails.
I heard about it.
Into fucking wine mom country again.
Wow.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that.
Tim Dillon is the best. Tim Dillon's like, she's saying gypsy curses. What is she saying?
Joe Rogan wasted no time whatsoever. The moment Oprah's name entered the discussion, he grabbed the microphone like a prosecutor presenting evidence in court. He wasn't interested in entertainment. He came prepared to expose what he viewed as one of television's greatest corporate illusions. In his eyes, Oprah had spent decades repackaging enlightenment and selling it back to audiences as a premium product, while building one of the most powerful influence machines in media history.
So we have got to talk about the failure of the celebrity. Oprah Winfrey, you have no power. You do not have any control over this electorate. Neither do you, J-Lo. Let's take a look at Oprah's final closing message on the campaign trail.
We don't get to sit this one out.
Joe directly targeted Oprah's transformation from daytime talk show host into a billion-dollar spiritual authority figure. To him, the entire operation bordered on parody. Inner Peace is supposedly just one 14-part masterclass away. Enlightenment apparently arrives after purchasing certified incense kits and wrapping yourself in blankets symbolizing your personal spiritual journey. Total tranquility is always being advertised as attainable, as long as your credit card is ready and you're willing to cover the shipping costs.
Yay.
Yeah. This is the best she can do, by the way. When they give her the talking points in advance, when they say, we're going to have a girl stand up, that poor girl who talks about her childhood sexual abuse. Mm-hmm. And what does Kamala do? Oprah, I don't know if you've heard this story, but when I was in high school, my best friend was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I said, we've heard this story so many times. And it makes me crazy because she is using this poor woman's sexual abuse as a valorization of herself.
Joe then focused on what he considered one of the biggest media deceptions of all time: Oprah's carefully maintained image as someone still connected to ordinary struggle. She speaks about hardship with such emotional conviction that people almost forget she's delivering those messages from inside a sprawling estate worth tens of millions of dollars, larger than most commercial centers. Joe highlighted the enormous disconnect between preaching simplicity and living a lifestyle so extravagant it makes royalty appear restrained.
Bro, you remember the time Oprah had that lady on, his face bit off by the chimp? Stay there. And she showed her face on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Miraculously, she survived just the unimaginable. Her name is Charla Nash. Charla almost always covers her face with the hat and scarf. She wears it, she says, because she doesn't want to scare people.
The lady was wearing a veil over her face, like, let's see your face, come on. She pulls the veil away.
Like a Nope?
What are you doing?
Would you mind lifting the veil? Oh, no. So we can see. You could take the hat off. Oh, the hat comes off. Yep. Okay. All right.
Joe went even harder on the spiritual branding surrounding the Oprah empire. In his view, the brand doesn't actually provide wisdom. It wraps basic ideas in luxury packaging, decorates them beautifully, and sells them at a premium. Every episode felt less like television and more like a sermon, complete with dim lighting, calming music, and cinematic nature shots carefully designed to make recycled advice sound profound. Joe compared it to emotional fast food, visually appealing, briefly satisfying, but ultimately lacking any real substance. He also exposed what he saw as blatant hypocrisy, preaching gratitude while attaching your name to luxury product lines, promoting humility while operating a personal brand large enough to rival major corporations. Joe painted a picture of an entire production team dedicated to manufacturing emotional illusion. Lighting experts, sound engineers, and spiritual consultants all working together to make obvious ideas seem revolutionary. His final description of the show was brutal, a luxury emotional shopping experience. People arrived feeling lost and left carrying motivational books and scented candles promising inner peace. According to Joe, it was never genuine therapy. It was simply therapy-themed entertainment with a primetime budget.
All I feel is insulted. My intelligence is insulted. I'm bored by you. I'm offended by you. And the thing is, it almost makes me think of Oprah. So Oprah actually was full of profundities when she did that show. I realize I have different feelings about her today too, when she's gone political. But back in the day, when I was young in law school and you turn on the Oprah Winfrey Show, you would hear something that would give you, oh, that's good. That's like something. She's the one we got aha moment from. She had these little catchphrases where you're like, oh yeah, that's something to think about. And her team would set it to music, and they'd slow down the interaction. They put in slow-mo, like her hug with a firefighter or something. And
while Joe dismantled the spectacle with humor and aggression, Megyn Kelly approached it from an entirely different angle: cold accountability. No jokes, no theatrics, just sharp precision. Megyn immediately challenged Oprah's long-standing image as a representative of ordinary people. She laid out the contradiction clearly. Someone who hasn't traveled through an airport without private assistance for decades, hasn't pushed a grocery cart without cameras nearby, and exists in an environment where few people dare question her, has no realistic claim to being the voice of average Americans. Her conclusion was blunt. Oprah stopped reflecting everyday people long ago. Instead, she now represents an aspirational fantasy, carefully curated, polished, and completely disconnected from reality. Megyn also criticized Oprah's activism, arguing that the emotional speeches, social causes, and passionate public statements often appear more like carefully timed image management than authentic commitment to change. Speaking about fairness and equality from a platform specifically designed to shield you from those struggles, she argued, turns activism into a
the pretend laughing is so, like, Oprah's pretending to laugh. And by the way, can I just say, I'll let you finish your point on the gun, but the Oprah affect is done. It's so over. Her fake, like, I did not know that, right? Like she's leaning into this like homegirl, like, what? I learned something. And her yelling, she yelled at us all night. Oprah was yelling. I'll show it to you in a second. You take up the...
Then, Megyn shifted toward the financial side of the story, the part she believes most people conveniently ignore. Oprah, she argued, turned inspiration into a massive commercial enterprise. Every endorsement, featured product, and guest appearance feeds an enormous business machine. Megyn posed the uncomfortable question the industry rarely asks. At what point did helping people become secondary to expanding the empire itself? She specifically targeted Oprah's book club, describing it as a system where one individual effectively controls what millions consider valuable literature. Receive Oprah's approval, and your work becomes immortalized. Miss that endorsement, and you disappear into obscurity. Megyn described it exactly as she saw it: market dominance disguised as literary passion. Then she raised perhaps the most uncomfortable point of all. Any empire built on moral authority, emotional storytelling, and carefully manufactured vulnerability, while leaving no room for criticism, stops functioning as a platform for truth. Instead, it becomes a heavily protected performance. Megyn warned that once public figures reach a level where meaningful scrutiny no longer exists, growth disappears and theater takes its place.
Yeah.
And they boiled it down to the easiest one, which is dreaming.
Right, exactly.
And that's why it's sold. But Oprah sold it. I mean, she was one of the big ones, man.
She was all in.
She was fucking 50 years old at the time. I mean, this is not a young woman who is selling this. How old is Oprah now?
75.
89?
Joe returned to the discussion with even more intensity. He focused on Oprah's long history of promoting wellness personalities whose main qualifications often seem to be charisma, photogenic confidence, and an ability to monetize vague self-help advice. He described her platform as the original gateway to pop psychology, where deeply complicated human struggles get reduced to breathing exercises and sponsored inspiration segments. Joe's central argument was direct. An empire built almost entirely on emotional reactions without practical substance isn't real self-improvement. It's simply highly polished feelings packaged for television. Offering inspirational quotes to someone in genuine crisis, Joe argued, is like handing decorative lights to a person sitting in a blackout. He also criticized Oprah's political influence. A billionaire media figure who once handed out cars to studio audiences now delivers political endorsements with the exact same dramatic energy, while expecting working-class Americans to treat those endorsements as meaningful guidance. Joe believed it was never truly about supporting candidates. It was always about protecting whichever narrative fit most comfortably within the brand itself. Megyn then delivered another sharp criticism, this time focusing on strategic silence. She argued that for someone who built an entire career around speaking boldly about justice and morality, Oprah has repeatedly demonstrated an incredible ability to remain silent whenever controversy threatens her carefully managed image. Megyn's point was devastatingly simple. The moments people choose not to speak often reveal more about them than the moments they do. She concluded by fully dismantling Oprah's relatable every-woman identity. According to Megyn, reaching that level of cultural influence, financial dominance, and institutional power requires complete integration into the very systems you publicly criticize. At some point, she argued, Oprah stopped challenging the establishment and ultimately became part of it.
I used to love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. Before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah might be intentionally misleading me. Then last night, the dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter. She's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever she...
Megyn then stepped back to examine the broader cultural impact, and what she described was deeply concerning. She argued that decades of Oprah-style media created a generation conditioned to mistake emotional validation for meaningful action, a culture where feelings carry more importance than actual results, and where personal accountability slowly disappears beneath endless layers of affirmation. In Megyn's view, the Oprah effect didn't truly empower people, it made them dependent on constant doses of inspiration. Joe shifted the conversation toward the wellness contradictions, clearly amused by what he saw. He pointed out that someone who publicly struggled with weight and body image for decades somehow evolved into a trusted authority on health and wellness. The journey included diet programs, emotional confessions, public setbacks, dramatic reinventions, and each stage conveniently aligned with new product launches and publishing opportunities. Joe described it as the longest-running wellness drama ever broadcast on television, complete with incredible ratings, but no real resolution. He also highlighted the constant contradictions. Audiences were told to embrace themselves exactly as they are, only to immediately encounter subscription programs promising total transformation. Messages about authenticity appeared alongside expensive lifestyle overhaul packages. Joe's observation cut deeply. When someone profits both from people's insecurities and from selling the supposed solution, trusting the sincerity behind the message becomes extremely difficult. Megyn brought the tone back to seriousness. She wasn't focused on comedy, she was focused on consequences. Advice reaching millions of people, treated like unquestionable truth while escaping meaningful scrutiny, doesn't merely fall short. It has the power to genuinely mislead audiences who deserved far more than beautifully packaged non-answers.
There was a story I was reading about Oprah, unfortunately, where this woman had terminal cancer.
Right.
And she had stage 3 breast cancer and just decided that through The Secret, she was going to imagine herself a healthy person.
Yeah.
And then, she eventually wound up dying from it because she didn't get treatment.
Megyn's final argument was sharp and unmistakable. Cultural influence without genuine accountability is not a public benefit. It's a liability. She argued that Oprah has spent years protected from the kind of honest criticism that forces people to evolve intellectually. Every mistake gets quietly buried beneath the next major launch. Every contradiction is softened with charm, optimism, and strategic redirection. No accountability, no real consequences, just constant forward momentum. Joe closed his perspective with a powerful image. Imagine Oprah stepping away entirely, and watch what happens to the massive self-help ecosystem built around her influence. According to him, the entire structure would collapse without its central figure, leaving behind countless life coaches, influencers, and motivational speakers repeating the same language without any real substance behind it. Everyone copied the style, but very few ever delivered anything meaningful. Megyn ensured the conclusion carried nuance rather than bitterness. She emphasized that the discussion was never about personal hatred. It was about something larger, the belief that clarity matters more than comfort, and that no public figure, regardless of fame or cultural status, should exist beyond honest examination. Together, Joe and Megyn did something rarely seen in modern media. They treated one of the most protected figures in entertainment as what she ultimately is, a human being with enormous influence, major blind spots, and a brand that over time became more